Now, good question here. Can we get the manual for setting up the charts before FTI? I think the answer is yes. What I'll do is I'll work with Peak Potentials to get them. I don't have everybody's email addresses. I only have the people who showed up at the seminars. But I'll work with Peak Potentials to send out the manual ahead of time so you can practice setting them up. As I say, it's a really great, well-written manual. Very, very easy to use. Okay. Do I just click register for now for Pro Real Time? Yes, just register. It should be free. Okay, what is the minimum amount of money you need to open an account? Each broker has their own minimum. I'd say $5,000 is a typical minimum. Sometimes it's zero. Sometimes it's $2,000. A pretty common one is it'll be a $5,000 minimum, but $2,000 if you open an IRA. So they actually will have a different amount of money depending on if it's a retirement plan or not. Same thing for Canadians, by the way. Same thing, same kind of minimums, no difference there at all. Can you open an account in whatever country you live in any nationality? Well, the answer is, generally speaking, yes. But if you lived in Afghanistan right now, I think you'd have a hard time opening an account. But I would say any developed country, the answer is yes. Thanks for the intro, Courtney. Looking forward to it. Yes, I'm really looking forward to it as well. Next question. What do we have to do before FTI? Relax. Have a good time. You don't have to do anything. I like the idea of me sending out the manual ahead of time. I like that idea. So if I get that manual out ahead of time, then I would suggest practicing and getting that set up because that would be useful. That would get you going a little bit quicker. But that would be about it. How do I determine the best possible online broker to set up an account with? One of the things that I would recommend that you do, and let me just pop this up here on the screen, is actually let me do this. One of the things, well, I have a blog which is free, so you might as well take a look at it. But on here, on the blog, when it comes up here, is on here, actually, I have a copy of Barron's report. Barron's is a financial magazine, and I have a copy of their report where they graded all the top brokerage houses. So go to CourtneySmith.com and search over here for brokers, and you should be able to find the review of brokers. It's about a year old, but it didn't change much at all. Okay. I work for Vanguard and have a whole list of stocks I'm not allowed to buy. Will I be able to work around those? Well, the short answer, of course, is I don't know because I haven't seen the list. But I would assume that some of the stocks that we're going to want to buy will probably be on your list. I'm being frank, but I think that's going to be there might be a problem there. I mean, we'll have to take a look for sure. But I haven't seen the list, so I can't really say however much or what the limitations are. Next question. How much should we invest in our brokerage account? The short answer is really as much as you can afford. And the reason is because you want to get your money working for you rather than you work for the money. You want that money working. So the more you can put in your account, the more money you'll make, and the compounding will kick in and all those good things. So the short answer is as much as you can. Are there any books we should read prior to the seminar for those of us who are new to stocks? There is, let me let me go to Amazon here, and there's a book. The problem is it's kind of a longer book, and I'm just gonna. The author is a guy by the name of Toolies. I know it looks odd, but his name is Toolies. There can't be too many books written by him. Yeah, right here, The Stock Market, right here, by Richard Toolies. Let me just, right here. It's a bit expensive, so that's why I'm not eager to say that. Also, too, but if you go to your broker, if you open a brokerage account, the broker has a ton of free information. So use that free information. The exchanges have free information. Investopedia.com has a lot of information. So I would use those free resources before buying the book. But if you want to buy the book, this is an excellent book, excellent book, but it is $42.52. So, a bit expensive. Now, you said in your video at MMI that we should use a broker who will charge by the stock. Who does that? Well, if you have a small account, you should use a broker that charges by the stock. Interactivebrokers.com. Interactivebrokers.com would be a broker that charges by the share. Interactivebrokers.com. Once your account gets to a certain size, then it's often better to go to a broker that charges by the trade. Okay, let's see. Can I repeat the part about the Amex credit card? Well, Amex technically is not a credit card. It's a charge card. And as a result, technically, Amex does not have a limit. And that's why I was saying that maybe you could use an Amex card to do $20,000 or $50,000. But I can tell you through personal experience, you need to call them up first, okay, and tell them, oh, by the way, I'm about to charge, $50,000, just so be prepared. However, there's not going to be many brokers that are going to allow that to happen. But give it a shot. You might get a lot of points. Do I need a higher credit score? No, you need a credit limit on your credit. Why will there be minimum electricity? Well, there's going to be 500 people, so where are you going to plug the computer in if you're in the middle of a ballroom? There's just not going to be any outlets there. Okay, I understood buy stop and buy limit. Can you go over what sell stop and sell limit are briefly once more? Well, let's just put it to you this way. It's the reverse of what you already know. In other words, let me just go back there. But basically, the sell limit, if you can just think of it, sorry, I got to go backwards here. They're the reverse of buy. So just really look at it from that perspective, and then you'll understand it. So in other words, if a buy stop is when I want to buy higher than the market, a sell stop is when I want to sell below the market. A sell limit is when I want to sell above the market. Does you see that? And a market order is right here. So take this chart, and if you want to sell above the market, you use a sell limit. If you want to sell below the market, you use a sell stop. And if you want to sell right now, you use a market order. Okay. I saw that you manage money for high net worth individuals. Are you registered with SEC FINRA? Yes. Okay, I think we've answered that. Okay, what is your recommendation for applying this new knowledge to our 401k accounts? The ideal thing is to do all of this material in retirement accounts. So that's IRA, 401k, Roth IRA, SEP, KIOs, RRSPs, and so on and so forth. So whatever out there, definitely use your retirement account so you don't have to pay taxes on the profits. And of course, you're going to have huge profits, so that would mean huge taxes. So we don't want to pay any taxes out there at all. Okay, let's see. Can you record any of your presentation? Yes, feel free to record it. That would be fine. I want you to get the best information possible. I want you to make as much money as possible. So take great notes. Record it if that helps you. I'd be more than happy to have you do that. Okay, do we need to bring our own food? This is a peak potentials event, so it's structured just the way an MMI is. So you are responsible for your own food. Okay, do we practice first with other accounts? Good question. What you can do is you can actually open up demo accounts before we actually get to the FTI. So for example, if you open an account at Interactive Brokers, you can open up a demo account right now and they give you like 50,000 play dollars so you can learn how to use their interface and just make sure you're comfortable with how you put in buy and sell orders. But once we do the FTI, I don't really want you to use demo accounts. I want you to use real money so you pay very, very close attention, okay? Are laptops allowed? Yes, they are allowed, but as I say, there's not a lot of plugs, so you either better have a really good battery or recharge at the breaks or something like that because there's just not that much, there's not that many plugs in a ballroom. Okay, what are the times each day? I'm not sure I understand the question, but let me answer it in another way. I do my trading at about 7 o'clock Eastern time during the summer hours and 8 o'clock in the winter. But you can really do it any time after the market closes at 4 o'clock. So 4 o'clock Eastern time. I just don't want to trade when the markets are open because when I start watching those little squiggly lines, I start to get excited and then I start to make mistakes. So come home from work, get home at 5:30, spend your 15 minutes of trading, then go get that stiff drink and talk to your spouse, okay? But first do the 15 minutes of trading. Late afternoon, early evening, it's all good. Somebody's asking about books or something from my website. I know this sounds really, really weird, but I have a book. I've written 9 books. I actually don't recommend that you buy any of them at this point. I know every author is supposed to say you should rush out and buy them, but frankly, the course is the key. So yes, I have a really good book on trading Forex. I think my options strategy book is pretty good, but I don't think that they're the best thing for you at this time. So I don't recommend you buy my books. For Canadian brokerage accounts, there's a smaller but very cheap broker I think it's called Trade Direct, and I think it's .ca or .com, I can't remember. But also Think or Swim has a Canadian operation as well, and a lot of my Canadian students use Think or Swim. TD Ameritrade now owns Thinkorswim, and I'm not a big fan of TD Ameritrade, but TD has bought Thinkorswim, and everybody raves about them. I know this may be jumping the gun, but what's a good amount of money to start with? Well, once again, the best amount of money to start with is as much as you possibly can. I would say start with at least $2,000. But if you do start with $2,000, then commissions are going to be a concern, and you really need to go to one of the really cheap brokers that charges by the penny, by the share, sorry. Are we providing a workbook so we don't have to write everything in our notes? The answer is no, because we're going to do something even better. But I'm not going to tell you what that something better is. All right? Let's see. If we don't bring the laptop, when do we do the programming? Well, you can do it any time you want. So you don't need to bring the laptop to learn the programming. I like this idea of sending you the manual ahead of time. So I think that would be good. How much does the charting system cost? $0. It's free. That's why it says free access. Remember, in our presentation, I said on the presentation that you should go and click on the free access button. So your chart should be free. Do I recommend Zeco? Zeco is an interesting brokerage firm because they started out offering free trading. But now they've pretty well eliminated that. I forget what their rules are now. But Zeco's still very, very cheap. Zeco is Z-E-C-C-O. Zeco. Zebra, Echo, Courtney, Oscar.com. Zeco.com. I think they're a solid little brokerage house, and they are also very, very cheap. I think they're even cheaper than Scottrade. I'm just reading. Now, for Canadians, the techniques that I teach all work for Canadian stocks as well. No problem at all. Most of the examples I give are going to be American stocks, but all the information I'm going to show you at FTI where the same information is for Canadians. So, for example, we're going to use Yahoo Finance. Canadians are going to use globeandmail.com. Same information, looks a little bit different, but not much. But exactly the same techniques are going to work for both markets. Does Pro Real Time work well with both Mac browsers? I use a Mac. I'm doing this on a Mac, and it works great on a Mac. Okay, what about the trading company Lightspeed? You know, I don't know anything about them. No student of mine has ever taken the course or has ever signed up with them, so I have no knowledge about them at all. Do we need brokers to be able to trade your system? Yes, the law will not allow you to trade on the exchange without a broker. So unfortunately, we definitely have to have them. What was the name of the hedge fund and mutual fund you managed? Well, actually, there was a lot of them. I've managed, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 hedge funds and probably 3 or 4 mutual funds. But the ones that were top ranked, the mutual fund was the Orbitex Growth Fund. And the mutual fund that I highlighted in my MMI presentation was called the Macro Fund. When we buy certain shares, do we keep it long-term or sell it once the market appreciates? The answer is sometimes one thing and sometimes the other. It really depends on how that particular stock, how it develops. Okay, next one. How about accounts for UK citizens? Don't use a UK broker. That's my first thing because they tend to be very expensive. So I would tend to stay away from them. Try interactivebrokers.co.uk, okay? Interactivebrokers.co.uk, and they're very, very cheap. Is this a buy and hold strategy or short-term cash flow? Yes, it's both. What we want to do is we want to make a lot of money. We don't want to use buy and hold. Buy and hold means you buy a stock and you hold it for Years. Well, that's no good. Buy and hold is actually a good way to make money, but it's also the most risky strategy of all. I can't think of a riskier strategy. Warren Buffett lost 50% in 2008. So a great investor like him gets killed with a buy and hold strategy in a bear market. So what we want to do is when we have a losing trade, we want to get out of it quickly. But when we have a winning trade, we want to hang on to it as long as possible. Will we be covering options in the FTI seminar? No, we will not. All right. Will I be able to make money with the information I receive at FTI, or will I be marketed additional courses I will have to take or buy into before I start making money? No, I will give you, as I said at the very beginning of the presentation tonight, you will receive all the information you need to make money in the marketplace. That's the only course you need to take. We're going to offer other courses, but you don't need to take anything but FTI. I want you to make money right away. I want you to start making money. Will we be talking about penny stocks and startup companies? Penny stocks are stocks that are very, very low priced, sometimes a penny a share. The answer is no, we will be not. What will I be able to do on Monday morning after the class? Well, technically, you'll be able to do everything that I teach you. But the reality is a lot of what I teach, everything that I teach is simple. Trust me on this. I've never had anybody say to me, oh my God, that was so complicated. Never, not once. So you're going to find the information that I teach you to be very simple. But there's a lot of material. So I'm going to tell you at the end of the second day, I'm going to teach you what you should do starting on Monday. So let me just leave it at that point. But the idea is if you've got an account open, you should start putting in trades on Monday and start making money. If you don't have an account open, then you should start to get that open as soon as possible. Next question, can I use ING for my brokerage account? I don't know if they're in the brokerage business yet. They're just in the banking business, I think. Question, where is the recording going to be posted? I don't know. Peak Potentials will let you know. We'll have them send out an email to let you know where the video of this is. Will I be the instructor? Yes, I will be the only instructor. Okay, somebody's coming back and answering the question. Wells Fargo charges $30 per trade. So guess what? I do not recommend using Wells Fargo. Courtney, I live in Mexico City. Do I need an American bank account in order to wire the money to the broker? Which bank do you recommend? That's a good question, and I'm not sure I know the answer. I believe that the answer is you do not need an American bank account, but sometimes American brokerage houses don't like opening accounts for non-Americans, and that, by the way, includes Canadians. And that's all because of the Patriot Act. Since they feel they can't confirm some of the information, some brokers are not happy with opening accounts for foreigners. If you find that the brokers we've talked about have that problem, then try interactivebrokers.co.uk, which is the UK version of Interactive Brokers, and they don't have the Patriot Act in the UK, so that shouldn't be a problem. Can I transfer my IRA funds into one of these online brokerage firms? Yes, you can. Is ING Share Builder a good trading site? You know, I don't know of any information, so I can't really answer that question at all. I really just, nobody has asked me that. Nobody has given me feedback on that place. I'm from Singapore. Which online broker would you recommend? Once again, I'd probably go from Singapore. I'd probably go to interactivebrokers.co.uk. I'm being told that Thinkorswim does take ACH, and if they do take it, I would use the ACH instead of wiring, because the ACH should be either free or cost you 25 cents or 35 cents or something like that. Whereas wiring, I've seen some places charge up to $40, but certainly as little as $10 to do a wire. So if you can do ACH, that would be a good thing. Can you show me how to go from rags to riches? Yes, absolutely. That's what the Freedom Trader Intensive is all about. Now, I can't make you go from rags to riches. That's entirely up to you. But I'm going to give you the tools so that you can. Let's see, just going through some of these questions. A lot of them are repeats. So, okay, somebody just signed up on Pro Real Time and had no problem. Okay. All right, question here. I have an E-Trade account. If they go bankrupt, will I lose everything? Should I transfer to another brokerage house now? If your account is over $1 million, then yes. If it's under $1 million, then no. Just like the FDIC guarantees bank accounts, the SIPC guarantees the first $1 million in a brokerage account in the United States. Canada does not have that, but the United States does. We're only going to be covering stocks. Okay, if we don't bring our computers, how will the tutors help us set up the chart? We can do it online. It's actually so simple, we can do it online. The box to uncheck is the one that says, give me the free, here, I'll tell you what, we'll go to Pro Real Time and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's go Pro Real Time. When you hit on the free access, that's right here, you fill out this form. It's all very simple, no big deal. But then down here, it says, oh, this is all okay. So you just have to sign this up. Just sign up. So, you just have to fill it out and click this and sign up. So very, very simple, Pro Real Time, free access. Just click on that and you're ready to go. Are we going to be trading live on site? No, because I'm not going to be able to get to the information. And trading live is really not important for the type of trading that I'm talking about, because I only want you to trade for 15 minutes a day. So we'll go through and I'll show you how to do it live, but we're talking simple. Let's see. Will there be an upsale? I would, look, what we're going to do is we're going to tell you about other courses that we've got. You don't have to take any of those. It's, it's only if you want to go further, but you certainly don't need to go beyond that at all. Somebody is recommending Trade King. I've also heard good things about TradeKing.com. I have received conflicting hotel information. Can you confirm if it's the LAX location or the Universal? The answer is really that's a question for Peak Potentials. But let me try to get you the answer to that. I believe it's just right here, list of all events, right here on the Peak Potentials. And then go down here to Freedom Trader Intensive, and here it is here. I'm not seeing that there's any conflict. It's very clearly stated it's Sheraton Gateway, Los Angeles, or the Walt Disney Swan and Dolphin Hotel, depending on which one you're going to. What is level 2 quotes, and what is the drawback to not being able to get level 2 quotes from a brokerage house? Well, remember that I said that that you've got to have that there's a bid and an ask for each stock. The level 2 quotes actually show you what the bid and the ask are. For our purposes, it's a waste of time because it is really, we don't care. The market's closed when we do our trading, so we're never even going to see the bid and the ask. The last price is good enough for us. We don't really care. Should we plan to subscribe to any Wall Street publications, for example, Investors Business Daily or the Wall Street Journal, either online or in print? One of the things that I'm going to recommend that you subscribe to is investors.com. I think it's $15 a month. It saves a lot of time. I'm going to show you how to get the same information for free from Yahoo Finance, but I have to say, to me, I pay the $15 a month, and it saves me time. That's investors.com. So that's the only additional cost that'll come up. For Canadians, there's a similar thing. Globeandmail.com gives pretty much all the information you need, but they also have a product called Globe Invest Gold or something like that. Once again, it's worth the $15 to save time. So, I think it's all good. Okay, the hotel for FTI charges $300 for the 2 nights. For us newbies on a budget, can Peak Potentials find us more affordable accommodations to purchase near the seminar? I don't know. I believe that on the, I don't think they have that information, but I just use Priceline. Priceline.com works awesome for me. But maybe call Peak Potentials and ask them that question. I don't really know the answer, but give them a call. I am a Canadian, have a Canadian broker account. Is it good enough? Absolutely. It's fantastic. How much do we need to have to maximize your system? The more money you put into the account, the better off it is. Let's just put it that way, okay? The more money you have, the more money you make, the less risk you'll take. Okay, in opening an account at Ameritrade, there are the following questions, and these are pretty typical questions. I expect primarily to 1, buy, hold, and occasionally trade stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, or bonds, or actively trade stocks, ETFs, options, futures, or foreign exchange. You should check off actively trade. What are my thoughts on buying Iraqi dinar? Too risky. Do I recommend dedicating just one laptop for trading purposes? No. One of the things that I find is that a lot of people get wrapped up in the technology of trading and don't focus on what's really important, which is your psychology, what your risk management is, picking the good stocks, and buying them and selling them at the right time. Don't worry about laptops. This is all really low technology stuff. So, use whatever you've got right now. That's good enough. Are there any sorts of trades that FTI will suggest that will not generally be permitted in an IRA account? No, they'll all be acceptable. Are online brokerage accounts insured? They are in the United States up to $1 million. Okay, Pro Real Time shows that their service is free for end-of-day pricing and 26.5 euros per month for real time. What do we need? Free, 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 free. Just use the Pro Real Time free. That's all. Should we paper trade first? No. How about, okay, here's a good question. How about the account profile? Should we use a cash account, cash and options, cash and margin, or cash and margin and option? Let me explain the difference. A cash account, you put cash into the account and you trade stocks. Now let me tell you one of the dirty hidden secrets of the brokerage business. When I go buy 100 shares of IBM, and let's say I buy them through I buy them through a brokerage house, they don't actually give me the shares. They actually keep them in their name and just owe the shares to me. Now, in a cash account, you can demand the shares be delivered to you, so you have a little bit more control. A margin account allows you to never own the shares directly. The brokerage house will always control the shares on your behalf, but it allows you to borrow money against your shares. And generally speaking, you can borrow 50% of the value of your shares, and you can borrow money right now at like 2%. I mean, it's insanely cheap. I would say open a cash and margin account at this point. It doesn't really make a difference, but that's probably the best thing to do. Is it worth liquidating my mutual fund to use the money for my brokerage account? The answer is yes, because trust me, you will outperform whatever mutual fund you've got. I'm going to teach you how to beat 80, 90% of all the mutual funds in America. It's going to be very, very easy to do. Are you going to help me create a personal trading plan at the seminar? I hadn't thought of that, but let me think about it. Maybe that's be something that we will add. Will we be learning about gold and silver investments? Not exactly. We're going to teach you how to pick the best of the best stocks. Most of the time, the best of the best stocks are not gold and silver shares, but sometimes it is. So if it happens to be in this case, if they show up on the list of the best, then we'll buy them. If they don't, then we'll pass on them. If we are supposed to sell in May and buy in October, what stocks are we looking to buy now? Well, actually, remember, not every year does sell in May work, but sometimes the market goes sideways and we can buy stocks during this seasonal boring time and make some money. But also remember, too, that I'm going to teach you how to make money in bear markets, so we're going to be able to make some money if it's a bear market. Right now, I'm both long and short stocks. And of course, you all remember what long and short means. Okay, my brokerage firm is Merrill Lynch, and our account manager does our trading for us. Will we learn what to do with our existing stocks? Yes, you'll be able to take the techniques I teach you and find out how your broker is an idiot. Second part, should we trade on our own through Merrill or open another account? Well, that's a decision you have to make, but generally speaking, Merrill Lynch is a very expensive brokerage house, and so I do not recommend them. What is considered a small account versus a large account to determine whether you need a broker per share or versus trade? Well, here's how it works. If I know that, let's say Scott trade is $6 a share, then that means if I'm trading 600 shares at a penny each, that it's neutral. So you have to start looking at the size of your trades and comparing it to the per trade cost. So I think I trade with Fidelity and per trade, and it's like $8, which is the same as 800 shares if I use Interactive Brokers. So just compare. That's how you do. Are you going to cover investing in foreign exchanges or companies? Well, not foreign exchange, that's currencies. I am going to show you one technique that sometimes gets foreign exchange or currencies. What we're going to do is the techniques that I'm going to teach you work really well in Canada and the United States. They work, the ideas work great on every exchange, but the problem is that a lot of countries have very poor information about their companies. So, for example, in China, many companies, you can't get the financials for the company. You don't know their income. It's a state secret, and if you found out what their earnings were, that's a felony and you could be shot for treason. Well, Canada and the United States are the two best countries for getting good information. And then after that, you come to the UK, Singapore, Hong Kong, Switzerland. Those are all pretty good countries. So what I do is I'll trade foreign companies that are listed on the U.S. exchange. So Baidu, fantastic, traded on the exchange. There are, 1,000 or 2,000 foreign companies listed in the United States. A bunch more are listed in Canada. Now, they tend to be the biggest stocks in foreign countries, but that gives us the ability. You're going to see once I show you the techniques that we're going to end up with a decent amount of foreign stocks. On the Interactive Brokers website, would we sign up for a private account? Yes. Does your system work for $2,000 like $20,000 or $200,000? Yes, but the brokerage commissions will be a little more drag on your investing, and you won't be able to diversify as much with $2,000. Will you discuss when world events cause drastic changes in the market and how to protect your investments? I'm going to talk a lot about how to protect your investments because, as I mentioned earlier this evening, we just don't want to lose money. Just don't want to lose money. Okay, we're going to obsess on not losing money. So I'm going to show you techniques that no matter what happens in the world, you're going to be protected. What is the dress code during the course? Relaxed. Feel comfortable. You're going to be sitting in that damn chair for hours, so I want you to feel comfortable and enjoy yourself. Right now, I am giving some of my FF money to a financial planner to invest in mutual funds, etc. Do you think I will blow away the performance after I learn this new skill set? Absolutely right. Here we go. Please be aware that the peak potential site shows the correct address at 6101 Century Boulevard in LA, but the driving instructions send you to the valley, so that might be where that Universal comes from. Anyway, the hotel is literally about 2 blocks from the airport, so it's really, really easy to get to. For those of us who are rather young, how can we best work with stocks so that we can live off of it as passive income? Will you be covering that at FTI? That is the point of FTI. You said we should use a retirement account. Will the broker help us transfer out from our current IRA account into their account? Yes, they will. What kind of bank account do we? I think we went through that one. Someone mentioned that it's possible to view my trades daily via a podcast. If so, how would I go about registering for that? No, I do not issue any podcast at all. What are the hours of the seminar? We will start at 9 o'clock. What we're going to do on the first day is we're going to go to 5 o'clock, something like that, and then we're going to take a break, and I'm going to teach all day long, and I'm not going to take any questions during the course, And instead, what we're going to do is then in the evening of the first day, I'm going to answer any questions you've got there. So people who want to ask questions and hear the answers can stay in the evening on the first day, and I'll be there to answer any questions. So we'll go, I imagine we'll go on for a couple, 3 hours, something like that. And so, it'll be pretty good. And then the second day, we won't have that evening session at all. Okay, I saw online that you were charged for bad trading or something like that. Can I clarify? In actual fact, I was charged, and what happened is that I was framed by FBI agents who are now in jail. So I was completely vindicated. It's an amazing story, but the FBI agents were shorting stock that I was buying. So we can talk about that another time. Okay, can I realistically catch a flight at LAX at 8:30 p.m. on a Saturday night? Absolutely, that should be no problem at all. What if I don't have an IRA or 401k? Well, I can't give you personal finance advice, but in general, most people should start an IRA or 401k so that they can save on taxes. I'm Canadian. Do I buy on TSE or only NYSE? Both. Okay, here is a person, a Canadian, recommending Quest Trade. And I'm going to type it up here because the spelling is a little bit weird. QUESTRADE.com, Quest Trade. So I'm getting a recommendation from someone in the audience who's Canadian. I want to trade full-time as my job. Will I learn how to do that at the seminar? Yes, you will. I'm going to give you the tools you need to be a pro trader. Next question. Do I invest in mutual funds? Never, if I can absolutely afford to. Why would I give my money to an idiot? 75% of mutual funds underperform the market. 75%. Trust me. I eat these guys as lunch. They don't have a chance against me. So, no, I would never give my money to another manager. I did not attend the MMI. Can you give us an idea of what you're looking for us to make while trading each year? We can never, ever know how much money we're going to make when we trade because we will make as much money as the market will give us. So in some years, like 2008, we're only going to make a little bit of money. But there'll be other years, like 2009, where we're going to make 100% or more. So it really depends on the year. What we need to do as traders is be prepared for any eventuality that happens in the market. So no matter what happens, we'll be ready for it. So when the market is really good, we'll make a lot of money. If it's a bad year like 2008, we're still going to make money, just not as much. If it's a big bull or big bear market, we should do well. If it's a choppy sideways market, we won't do as well. So, but we're just going to be ready every single day that the market is open. Are we probably going to be trading every day the market is open? Yes. Will we be following your stock choices initially before we apply your proprietary charts to other trades? Not really. Okay, I live in Mexico. Do I recommend a Mexican broker? Unfortunately, I don't know any Mexican brokers. I just know the American, Canadian, Singapore, Hong Kong, and UK brokers. Okay, Quest Trade, here we go. Trade stocks for $4.95. Someone's pointing this out. So $4.95 for trades in Canada is a very, very cheap price. As I say, the typical discount price in Canada is well over $10. So $4.95, that's an awesome price.